for knowledge, not for people. Not for people. Allah subhanahu, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in the great hadith, he gave it as a guidance to this ummah. When he said, when a companion came to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam and asked him a question, after this beautiful khair, goodness that we see, is that evil? He says, yes, there will be evil. Then he said, is there a khair after that? He said, there will be khair. But it has a dakhan in it. It's smoky, it's unclear. Then they questioned the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What is the dakhan? What is the smoke? What is the unclear, O Prophet of Allah? He said, du'atun ala abwabi jahannam. Callers on the doors of Jahannam. Callers on the door of Jahannam. Yahtaduna bi ghayri hadi. They guide the people with other than my guidance. Wa yastannuna bi ghayri sunnati. And they follow other than my sunnah. Ta'rifu minhum wa tunkir. You know from them and you know things and you reject other things from them. Du'atun ala abwabi Jahannam, as the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He said, Man ajabahum. Whomever answers their call, قَذَفُوهُ فِي جَهَنَّمَ, in the hellfire. My brothers, that is a warning from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as he described them, قَوْمٌ مِّن جِلْدَتِنَا, people from our skin, يَتَكَلَّمُونَ بِأَلْسِنَتِنَا, they speak with our tongue. What does this? Don't confuse it, that means from our skin, yani they have an olive skin like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No, but their appearance is the appearance of a alim. He wears you the turban. He wears you the nice Saud Ghutra, that red thing and the white thing. He wears you the turban and he wears the white cap and he dressed in a beautiful, nice, well-ironed $500 Ad-Daffa abaya. And he speaks and you say, MashaAllah. Yeah, Habibi, what MashaAllah? Yes, MashaAllah, but are you listening to the garbage that is coming out from his mouth? When a alim, he's supposed to be the greatest shaykh of the greatest university in Islam, he says riba is halal. Give me one alim, one scholar in Islam, since you opened your big mouth, said this before you. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it haram. How would you trust someone who says riba is halal? And he said this is fawaid. You probably heard this before, but this is one of the fatwas. This is fawaid, yani interest. Yani you're interested to take it. It sounds good on the ear. As the Prophet ﷺ said, there's a time will come to my ummah, they change the words, they change the labels and the names of the haram things to easy names. This way, it doesn't have this negative effect on your ear. When you hear it, you say, yeah, interesting. Let's take interesting stuff. He said it is halal. What is the ilm? What is the ilm? When this great shaykh, he goes and meets in interfaith dialogue. Wallahi, I don't want to speak. But it just because I was feeling so sad. I am feeling so heartbroken about the latest claims he made, which is I will tell you about it. But I don't want to speak. It is not my nature. But I can't hold back anymore. It is like a knife cutting through my heart. When people we're supposed to look up to, they let you down. Instead of him being in the front row to defend Al-Aqsa, which is being raped every day. As we speak, they're raping the Aqsa. You have brothers sitting in the Aqsa on a strike today. You have brothers dying on the doors of the Aqsa. You have babies being slaughtered on the doors of the Aqsa. You have your brothers and sisters dying. And he goes to meet with, this is in Hiwar al-Adyan, in the interfaith dialogue. What is the interfaith dialogue? That we all follow Abrahamic religion and we all to Jannah. That's why one of them, he said, Pope, when he died, Rahimahullah. What Rahimahullah? This is the corruption that you have today. And who turns up to this Himar al-Adyan, as one of the shuyukh said, yani the donkeys of, Himar is the donkey. Himar al-Adyan, the donkeys of interfaith dialogue. Who turns up? George Bush. Give me the Pope. I want to speak Himar al-Adyan. Give me someone, Christian. Who turns up? Shimon Peres. You know, he's one of the ministers of Israel. And that Imam al-Akbar, he puts his hand, not one hand, two hands, and she shakes his hands. Not one hand, two hands. He's giving him the warmth of Islam. The warmth of Iman with two hands. May Allah curse you both. What's this? This man is slaughtering your brothers and sisters in Islam. And this is what you do? Because he hugged them also, to the rabbis of the Jews. He did hug them also, as the photos show. That is who's leading the Muslims. Also, the fatwa that he came up with it, and listen to the fatwa. He said to a girl inside a classroom just a week ago, why are you wearing the niqab inside a university for women only? Why are you wearing the niqab? Remove the niqab. All your friends are girls. The teacher said to him, she said, Ya Shaykh, when you walked in, she put the niqab, but she didn't have it on, the face cover. But when you walked in, he said, but this is not from Islam. This is a habit. This is something introduced to Islam. Maybe he forgot that he's a man, that a woman needs to cover her face in front of him. That's what he said. He said, this is a habit. Something introduced to Islam. It's not part of Islam. Now give me one alim. We know there's a difference of opinion, which is, I'll give you the proofs later. In the lecture, I'll give you the proofs. Give me one alim. A student of knowledge who said this is not part of Islam. We all know it's either obligatory or preferred to do. And even the ones who said it is a preferred to do, even the ones who said it is a preferred to do, they said in the time of fitna the woman must cover her face. Give me one dalil of what you said. My brothers, the point, it's not a war on the niqab. It's a war on Islam. It's a war on the manhaj of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Because the revival of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah inside Egypt motivated the women to wear niqab. Because most of the shuyukh over there on that opinion, that it is obligatory on a woman to cover her face. It is a war against that. Al-Azhar University for a very, very long time, many scholars were graduating from it until the modern governments, they said, we elect the Shaykh and the Imam. So once we elect the Shaykh and the Imam, what happened? They choose whomever they like. Someone who to fulfill their agenda. Why do you think the Muslims cannot meet on Shahr Ramadan? Because the Azhar and his followers take the calculations, and Saudi and the followers, they take by moon sighting. And that's why you can't. The reality goes back to there. This institution, Al-Azhar, my brothers and sisters in Islam, was built by the Ubaydiyin. You know who's the Ubaydiyin? The Fatimid, an extreme Shia sect. And they called it, that's why Al-Azhar comes from the word al-Zahra, Fatima al-Zahra. See, Fatima al-Zahra related back to the Shia. What happened? They built it so they can spread their deviancy. Then after that, Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi, rahimahullah, when he took it, he turned it to Ahl Sunnah institution. And remained like that till these modern tyrants came in and they said, we elect the Shaykh we elect the Imam. So he has to fulfill the agenda because he's been elected by them. And that is the history behind it. The same Shaykh, this one, when the Minister of France, he wanted a fatwa. You know how they banned the hijab in France in the public schools? You know where he got the approval from? He went to Shaykh al-Azhar. Wallahi, when I heard he went to Shaykh al-Azhar at that time, I said, oh man, alhamdulillah, now the Shaykh going to tell him off so badly. He's going to make him feel that small. You talking about freedom, you talking about the democracy, you talking about this. Let the people worship God. He said to him, no, it's your right, it's your right, it's your right to legislate any way you like. He took a fatwa from the Azhar and he said, hey Muslims, that is the greatest university, that's where it's saying, so it's our right to tell the women, you're not allowed to wear hijab in public schools. That is the truth, my brothers. And today, because of the Shaykh al-Azhar, the fatwa about niqab, that is not part of Islam, Italy wants the same thing too. So look at